Can ChatGPT trade? Well, we're going to find out. This is part one of a multi-part series where I'm going to basically put ChatGPT to the test and see if it can trade. So in this video, I'm going to go into some more details, some of the in-depths of how I'm setting this challenge up and the results so far. So what I'm going to talk about is why I'm doing this challenge, how I'm prompting ChatGPT and the general rules of the challenge and the performance so far. So the first thing, why am I doing this challenge? Well, I've been playing around with chat and trading automation. That's kind of what I'm into. I'm very much into trading automation. But I've been playing around with ChatGPT and I've been finding it very, very impressive. And recently, so let's head over to chat. So as you can see on the left, I've been trading, playing around with ChatGPT a lot. And recently I purchased the premium version. So what this premium version does is it allows you to have access to these GPTs. So these are specific versions of ChatGPTs. Like it's basically, they're ChatGPT, but they're different versions for a specific task, right? So you can see here you've got Adobe Express version, which helps quickly create social post videos, etc. And there's loads of them, right? But the one that I've been using is this one called Data Analyst. So this, what I like about this tool is that you can basically just drop in any file and it'll analyze and visualize the data for you. So let's say I go over to Euro USD and I'll pick a chart here. So this is gold. I'll just copy the image, head over to ChatGPT and just tell it, analyze this in 5 sentences. So let's see what it says, right? So the chart shows the price movement of gold spot against the US dollar over a short-term period using 5-minute intervals. The price experienced significant volatility, blah, 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 right? Basically, the point is it's pretty accurate. So even the first sentence here, you can see I didn't tell it was gold. I didn't tell it was the 5-minute time frame. I didn't tell it anything, right? And it knows off of this chart, which it's not particularly obvious if I look at this chart. Obviously you can see it here, but it's it's in small in the top corner. So you can see it's just very impressive what it can do. So this basically, it got me thinking, can ChatGPT be profitable? If I prompt it right, if I feed it the right data, can it start to generate profitable trade ideas? And can it, be better at trading than you or me? Which is quite concerning, but it's worth testing. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing 100 trades on this challenge to just see the profitability of it. So let's get into how I'm prompting ChatGPT and the rules around this challenge. So the first thing to mention is the rules. So I'm going to try to keep it as consistent as possible by uploading charts at 10 a.m. every morning. And that's it. So, and the reason I'm doing that is just to have a consistent input, not to constantly be sending charts, just one chart, which is the 1 hour and 5 minute, once a day at 10 a.m. and seeing what it gives me. And we'll get into the prompt right now. So this is my section here. It can take a bit of time to load sometimes, but let's see. All right, we'll give it a second to load. But what I'm going to go into is the specific prompt that I'm using. Now, I've had to get quite detailed with the prompt because what I found is that if you're not very detailed, basically ChatGPT starts to generate kind of nonsense trades, right? So I've got to get super specific. For example, I got to tell it only trade, trade the long or the short side, because if not, it for some reason only trades the long side, right? So these are just a couple things that I've got to do. Now I don't know why. Okay, here we go. So it's open now. So this message here, the big one, is from 10 a.m. this morning, and this is the specific prompt that I'm using. So basically, you can read it yourself and you can see what I've gone into, but I'll just mention some of the key points. So I'm only trading gold, Euro USD, Bitcoin. I'm giving it the 1 hour and the 5-minute time frame. I'm telling it the 1 hour is for direction and the 5 minute is for entries, right? The trades can be long or short, as I mentioned, and this is an important one here. You can trade in whatever style you see optimal based on the data. Breakout, mean reversion, buy the dip, support and resistance, supply and demand. Now, the reason I mentioned this is because I want to give ChatGPT kind of free will, right? For this experiment. Now, of course, it'll be an interesting experiment also to see, does ChatGPT, if you give it specific rules of a strategy, can it give you accurate trades, right? But in this experiment, I want to give ChatGPT free will in a way, so I can kind of test its ability to critically analyze the charts and see if it can actually generate optimal setups based on the data. So that's why I've given it that kind of free will, you know? And then basically just mentioned I want them to be day trades, etc., etc. So nothing that interesting. This is another point I said here. Note, the entry does not have to be right at the current price. Now I had to make this distinction because if not, ChatGPT just always wanted to enter me in right at the current price. So I made this distinction. And then finally I just said, I want your response to only include the order type, entry price, stop loss, take profit, and reasoning. So as you can see this morning, I sent in all the charts, the 5 minute and 1 hour of gold, Bitcoin, and Euro USD, and it gave me the signals, right? So I placed all these signals, and so far Euro USD hit stop loss, and Bitcoin is still running, and gold did not get triggered. So so that's it basically, right? And you can see now, I'm going to go into each trade in a minute, but you can kind of see that the way it's set it out and the reasoning is it's pretty cohesive, right? So the reasoning, downward trend on the 1 hour and a recent pullback on the 5 minute, indicating continuation of bearish momentum. And if I head over to the gold chart, 1 hour, okay, we are in an overall downtrend, correct? And the 5 minute, you know, you can see basically its reasoning is pretty accurate. It said recent pullback on the 5 minute chart, indicating a continuation of bearish momentum. Right, so it's referring to this pullback right here. So we had break, pullback, pretty accurate, you know, reasoning, I would say. So yeah, basically in terms of, as I was mentioning, the prompt and the rules, that's pretty much it. I've said add the prompt so that it has structure, but I'm also giving ChatGPT a little bit of free will to make analysis on its own, right? Because I don't want it to just regurgitate what I tell it. I want it to actually analyze itself. So now let's go into the performance so far. So it's, as I said, it's day 3. We're 7 trades in. Well, 7 trades completed and 1 trade running. So let's just go into them. So I'm tracking it all in the spreadsheet, and we're just going to go quickly through each trade. So the first trade was a win on gold, started really strongly, and it was a pretty solid breakout trade. Now, I'm not going to go into the reasoning of each one, but you can see pretty accurate trade. We were in an uptrend, broke through, we started to consolidate, and then it wanted me to enter here on the breakout. And super solid trade, right? Trade number 2 was a Bitcoin trade where, again, we were starting to find support, and you can see chat said potential reversal from a support level on the 5 minute chart. Incredibly accurate analysis there, and it worked out really nicely. And then we started the downtrend, the series of bad trades, right? We had Euro USD, yeah, pretty bad trade here, as you can see. So that was a loss. Then we had this one on Bitcoin, which again, this was not a good trade in my opinion from ChatGPT, because it was a little bit too tight. I thought, it only took a few candles to hit stop loss, and also you kind of see that the downward momentum was fading. So I wasn't a particular fan of this trade from ChatGPT, and it did hit stop loss, so not a great one there. Gold, again, this one was prices trending downward on both blah blah blah, resistance holding. So yeah, again, this trade wasn't great. But this is the one thing I noted, is it always wants to trade in line with the trend, which is a good thing in a way. But sometimes it's a little bit, too much, where we've had a huge huge drop, and it still wants to just take a breakout trade in line with that drop, which, who am I to question ChatGPT? But sometimes it seems like a bad move. And then this is Euro USD trade, which also hit stop loss. So yeah, so that is basically the start of the challenge. Now on 8cap, you can see here's the trade history. We're basically down 2.2%, minus $220, with a total completed trades of 7 completed trades, 2 wins, 5 losses. So far not great, But we do have this trade running right now on Bitcoin, which looks like it has potential to hit TP, which would be profit of 238. So that would actually, clean up quite a lot of the losses if that does hit. So that would pretty much bring us back to break even if that hits TP. But we don't know if that's going to happen. So basically, that is it for this video, right? I'm super interested to actually see how the performance ends up playing out, because as I said, if ChatGPT can be prompted right and analyze the data well, there's no reason why it can't be profitable, right? So it's a super interesting test, and so far you can kind of see it does have some drawbacks. Sometimes the analysis seems a little bit off, but again, this is just a test. I want to give ChatGPT some free will on this and see what it can do by itself, and then perhaps later on down the line I'll refine it. So day 3, 7 trades in, we're currently losing, but let's see what happens for the rest of the challenge. I'll keep you guys updated every few days, and then when we get to the 100 trades, we can do a more in-depth analysis of the performance and see, can ChatGPT be profitable? So let's see. Thanks for watching. Give this video a like, all that stuff, and follow along if you want to continue to see this journey. Thanks for watching.